In 1921, one of the wealthiest black communities in America was burned to the ground in less than 24 hours. Hundreds of homes destroyed, businesses reduced to ash, airplanes flying overhead. And then something even more shocking happened. For decades, America barely spoke about it. This is the story of how Black Wall Street was destroyed and how the truth was buried. In the early 20th century, Tulsa, Oklahoma was booming. Oil money was pouring into the city, and opportunity seemed endless. But inside Tulsa existed something extraordinary. A thriving black community that defied the racial barriers of its time. It was called Greenwood, but across America it became known as Black Wall Street. Along a stretch of Greenwood Avenue were banks, hotels, grocery stores, movie theaters, barber shops, law offices, doctors, and restaurants, all owned and operated by black entrepreneurs. It was one of the most prosperous black communities in the United States. Families owned beautiful homes, children attended excellent schools, wealth circulated within the neighborhood. In an era defined by segregation and discrimination, Greenwood represented something powerful: independence. But success in a deeply segregated America often came with a dangerous cost. The spark that ignited the tragedy began on May 30th, 1921. A 19-year-old black shoeshiner named Dick Rowland stepped into an elevator inside a downtown Tulsa building. The elevator operator was a 17-year-old white girl named Sarah Page. What happened inside that elevator remains unclear to this day. Some reports suggested Rowland may have accidentally stumbled or stepped on Page's foot. Others claimed she screamed after he grabbed her arm. Whatever the truth was, Rowland ran from the building. The next day, a local newspaper printed a sensational headline suggesting that a black man had assaulted a white woman. In 1921 Tulsa, that accusation was explosive. Within hours, white mobs began gathering outside the courthouse where Rowland was being held. Rumors spread rapidly and tensions began to rise. That evening, Black World War. Veterans from Greenwood heard reports that a lynching might happen. Determined to protect Rowland, a group of armed black men went to the courthouse to offer help to the sheriff. They were turned away. But when they returned later, the situation had grown far more dangerous. Hundreds of white men had gathered outside. Many were armed. Then suddenly a confrontation broke out. A shot was fired, and within seconds chaos erupted. Gunfire spread through the streets of Tulsa. But what followed was not a simple riot. It became something far worse. Through the night and into the morning of June 1st, white mobs began invading Greenwood. Witnesses later reported that airplanes flew overhead, some allegedly dropping incendiary devices and firing rifles. Homes were looted and burned. Businesses were destroyed one by one. Entire city blocks went up in flames. Families fled their houses in terror as gunshots echoed through the streets. Some residents tried to defend their community, but they were vastly outnumbered. By sunrise, Greenwood was engulfed in smoke. More than 35 city blocks had been destroyed. Over 1,200 homes were gone. Churches, schools, libraries, and businesses had vanished. One of the most prosperous black communities in America had been wiped out. But the destruction didn't end with the fires. Thousands of black residents were arrested and detained by authorities. Many were held in internment camps under armed guard. And while Greenwood lay in ruins, something else began happening quietly behind the scenes. The story started disappearing. Official reports minimized the violence. Insurance companies refused to pay claims because they labeled the event a riot. Newspaper archives were altered or removed. Photographs vanished. For decades, the Tulsa Race Massacre was rarely taught in schools. Survivors spoke about a silent understanding that people simply did not talk about it. An entire generation grew up without knowing that one of the worst acts of racial violence in American history had happened in their own country. The destruction of Greenwood wasn't just physical. Its memory was buried too. For nearly 75 years, the massacre remained largely hidden from mainstream American history. But in the 1990s, historians and survivors pushed for the truth to be officially investigated. In 1997, Oklahoma formed the Tulsa Race Riot Commission. Their findings shocked many Americans. Estimates suggested that as many as 300 people may have been killed. Thousands were left homeless, and the thriving economy of Black Wall Street had been permanently shattered. Today, efforts continue to uncover mass graves, preserve survivor testimonies, and restore Greenwood. Even after the fires were extinguished, the story of Greenwood didn't end. In the months following the massacre, thousands of black residents were left homeless. Families lived in tents through the winter while trying to rebuild what had been taken from them. But despite the devastation, the people of Greenwood showed extraordinary resilience. By the mid-1920s, many residents had begun rebuilding homes and reopening businesses. Greenwood slowly came back to life. Restaurants reopened, churches held services again. Music returned to the streets. For a moment, it seemed like the community might recover its former strength. But the economic damage had already been done. Generations of wealth had been erased overnight. Insurance claims were denied. No one was held accountable for the destruction. And without outside support, rebuilding could only go so far. Over time, highways and urban development projects cut through what remained of the historic district, further weakening the community. Yet the spirit of Greenwood never fully disappeared. Today, visitors to Tulsa can walk through parts of the historic district where Black Wall Street once stood. Memorials, museums, and historical markers now tell the story that was hidden for so long. Survivors who lived through the massacre spent decades sharing their memories so the truth would not be forgotten. Their voices helped ensure that the events of 1921 would finally be acknowledged as what they were. One of the most devastating acts of racial violence in American history. And perhaps the most powerful lesson from Greenwood is this: a community can be attacked, buildings can be destroyed, history can even be hidden for decades, but the truth has a way of surviving, and the legacy of Black Wall Street still lives on. Not just in Tulsa, but in the story of resilience that continues to inspire new generations. If this story taught you something new about American history, consider supporting the channel. Subscribe for more documentaries uncovering forgotten moments that shaped the United States. And if you found this story powerful, share it, because some histories deserve to be remembered.